Hi, I'm Chris Wise with Wise About Flower Mound, and we are in Denton today, and I'm here with Debbie Jenson, and we're talking about CASA. Now, CASA is not what you're thinking, Casa Mañana. This is actually CASA, and it's, court-appointed special advocates. So, and we always think of the kids. So, Debbie, tell me about what CASA is.
Okay, thanks, Chris. We recruit, train, and support more than 260 volunteers each year.
Wow.
Who will represent children in foster care while they're in the court system.
Okay.
So these volunteers will learn everything they can about the child, their family, when they have siblings.
Okay.
They'll learn about their schoolwork, how they're doing while they're in foster care, and of course the horrible things that they suffered, the abuse and neglect that brought them into this situation. And then they'll make recommendations directly to the judge involved in the case.
Okay.
These are really special people who just have a heart for children. They don't have to come from a particular background.
Okay.
We train them.
Okay.
Right here, we're in our training room right now, and we train all of our volunteers here to go and do their work in the community and in the court system.
Wow. So if somebody, let's say like me, is looking for a way to serve the community, this would be a great way. So I go through a screening process, I would imagine, and then training, and then I get my, I think of client, but my child, I guess, that then I'd be responsible for really helping them navigate through foster care in the court system and just how that works. Okay.
That's right. And you have a supervisor from our staff.
Okay.
We have 11 of them working.
Okay.
And each one of them provides really good, strong guidance and coaching as you're going through the process. You're responsible for the case and the child, but this supervisor will help you with all the legal ins and outs that you need to know about.
Okay. Because
then,
I don't know much about any of that. I mean, fortunately, I haven't been exposed to any of that, but certainly I would love to be able to help shepherd a child through that process.
I'll tell you, you will be shocked at what you will learn in our training program about how common abuse and neglect are and the kinds of effects that they have on children from our own community.
Yeah, definitely. You know what? I'd have a hard time letting them go. I mean, really, I'd want to adopt all of them. So how do you overcome that? Because your heart pours out to this child and you know what they've been through, and if it was with the family, I guess the court would decide, what's best for the child with our input. But I mean, how do you not just want to just love on all of them and just take them home?
And you know what? It's so true. But when the gavel comes down, your relationship with that child ends, and you unfortunately have to move on to the next one. Because I guarantee you, when your time is waning on one case, we're already planning the next case that we want to put you on. And I had a therapist who was speaking to one of our volunteers one time who had a great way of looking at it. She said, remember your third grade teacher? Well, you had to leave third grade and move on to the next one, and you had to let that teacher go. It's the same thing with your volunteer advocate. The child has to say, that volunteer was there for me for a time, and they did their work for me, and they helped me, and I have to move on, and the volunteer has to move on too.
That would be so hard. I'm telling you. I mean, I'm volunteering with communities and schools, and I've had this girl since 4th grade. She's now going into 9th, and I've just gone right with her, and it's like I'll probably be at her wedding. I just because I don't want to let go of her, which has been an incredible, rewarding process. So this has just got to be so tough from what you have to hear, understand what the child has been through. I mean, that's just
it really can be. You learn a lot about our communities, areas that you never knew about and that you maybe wish you didn't know about. But if you're willing to step into those difficult places on behalf of a child, you've done something incredible.
Right. So, goodness. So how long do people usually volunteer, and what's, I guess, what's the longevity? Is it something they do for a few years? Is people do it for 10 years? Or, I mean, I just can't imagine living and operating in that and just not just breaking your heart.
Oh yeah, I think a lot of our volunteers just get into it and they realize how important it is and they don't let it go. And so we do have right now a couple of 15-year volunteers working. We do ask for an 18-month commitment.
Okay.
Because that's about how long a case will take to make through the court system. But I guarantee when you get to the end of that case, you're either going to say, okay, I've done my work and my time is done, or you're going to say, sign me up for the next one.
Okay.
Because you'll make a difference and you'll see that difference. And when you walk into a courtroom and a judge looks over and recognizes you and says, oh, there she is.
Yeah.
That there's no feeling like that in the world.
So 18-month commitment, because you think that's about how long it's going to take. What about a time commitment on either a weekly or monthly basis? What would somebody expect?
We say that it takes about 10 to 15 hours each month, and some months very low, 4 to 5 hours, because it's not a time that you're preparing for a lot. Other times more because you're getting ready for a court hearing.
Okay.
A lot of it is based around the court system and when those hearings happen, the type of work that you're doing. Sometimes you're just monitoring and checking on people and the family and the child and how they're doing. Other times you're working to get a court report ready to turn into the judge.
Wow. So what are typical tasks, or what's the role? Like, where are the boundaries, I guess, during that 18 months that you're on this journey with the child?
What's so neat about the CASA program is that here in Denton County, we serve as the guardian ad litem on a case. And that's a legal term that gives us rights and responsibilities in the case. So it makes it a very important role. And it sets out your boundaries really clearly. And you'd learn more about that in training. But just so you know, you're appointed by the court. And what the court says goes. And you have to always keep in mind, I may have to tell the judge about this, or I may need to let the judge know about this. You know, and always in the back of your mind is, I'm a part of the court, and I'm part of the court system. And so that really helps to inform your work. You realize the importance of it, and it also helps you realize that you've got to be responsible to it.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Wow. So 10 to 15 hours a month, potentially for that 18 months, maybe more squeezed together, maybe more time getting ready for court. Is there any, like, outside, like, what are you meeting with the child, or are you, meeting
That's right, you meet with the child, you'll get to know the family. You're always looking for extended family who might be able to provide either a temporary placement for the child or a permanent home if that becomes necessary. But you're really getting to know those important people in the child's life. You're going to be interviewing the child's therapist if they're in therapy. You're going to be getting medical records and going over them to see what you find, what the child's needs are. And really you become that person in the case that everyone looks to and says, Chris, what is it about this date in the child's life, or what's the important thing about this? Because you'll know them so well. Oh, wow. So it's a lot of studying then. Yeah. Really. And then, wow, it's, as you said when we first started talking, this is so different than what I was expecting. Of course, I didn't know what to expect. I mean, I've been a mentor, so I've done that. But this is so different. I mean, when you think about the research and trying to understand every facet of that child's life and guiding them through that process, that's pretty amazing. And the court is looking to you to make recommendations. And that's what's so incredible about the role, is that you become that person who the judge looks out and says, what do you think should be done here?
Wow. Can you imagine having that responsibility? I mean, just thinking about the gravity of that.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. And it makes such a difference in their life.
Yeah, they've got to have somebody to do that.
Right. These children are involved in the court system through no fault of their own. We have to remember that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what's so, oh gosh. So do you have the training program, is it on a calendar where every so many months you start a new group, or how does that work?
Yeah, we do it about 5 times a year. And so the main thing that people need to know is to go to our website, casadenton.org, and we have info sessions, we call them, where it's just kind of like an orientation. And you'll learn all the ins and outs of the program, and you'll get an idea if you think you'd be a good fit. And then from there, you'll be steered toward the other background checks and the personal interview and all the things you have to go through.
Well, I appreciate that all that is done. Obviously, you don't want some
That's
whoever, Yahoo out there doing this. And
That's right.
And I also like that you have an info session, because you know, just like me, I mean, I'm thinking, well, I would love to help. I'd love to help, but it sounds like maybe with what all needs to be done, where I'm at my season of life, it's not the right time. But that could be, when I'm an empty nester and have more time to be able to.
And something else to think about is we have pairs of people who work together on a case.
Oh, okay.
Sometimes it's a husband and wife, but we've had friends and we've had a mother-daughter team.
Oh, wow.
And that's something that we'd really like people to know about, that it's available to work together as a CASA team. And so each person can kind of do their part.
Oh, that's great. And that's so neat to have a mother and a child do that, because, I think about, oh, there goes the lights. I think about the things that I've done with my boys to expose them to different things. Yeah, that's great. That's great. Well, this has been really helpful.
Yeah.
I mean, just to even understand. Because like I said, coming in here, I kind of knew what it stood for. I couldn't remember what the S was. I knew it was kids, and I knew it was court appointed. But really, I didn't understand the depth of what you guys do here.
Yeah, it's a really important job, and it's something that we are so lucky to have so many people from Denton County willing to do. It's just amazing that they continue to come in and be willing to give their time like that.
Yeah, that is great. And we've got such great people in Denton County.
We do.
I mean, truly. I mean, from a volunteer standpoint, just so many great volunteers and so many great organizations that help the people who are in situations that they certainly don't deserve to be in that situation, but
that's right.
It's just happened.
Our volunteers, one of their jobs is to promote community resources for the family, and there are so many.
Yes.
So many different things that can help.
That's great. Well, Debbie, this was really good, and I hope that if you've been listening to this and it piques your interest, that you would go to the website and certainly check it out, because I know they always need volunteers, and I know people have asked me to be a volunteer, and at some point in my life I probably will be, just not right now. Not right now. But I know that it is a calling and a passion, is the kids. I'm just definitely all about the kids, and not everybody is growing up in an environment that's so positive. And if we can help those kids, then that's definitely the thing to do.
Thank you. Yeah, more than 750 kids last year.
Wow. Oh my gosh. Well, I'm deeply involved with the Children's Advocacy Center, so I'm sure you're working with them as well, because sexual abuse, I'm sure, it's just really sad. And when we live in the bubble that we live in, we don't think about what is happening in other people's homes.
No, we don't.
And it could be, somebody in your community, somebody in your neighborhood, and that's just so sad. So, well, thank you.
Yeah,
thank you so much for this. And like I said, hopefully we got the word out and we can get you some more volunteers coming in.
Right, we need it.
Yes, definitely. And you said 750?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
It's rough.
We got to help these kids.
Yeah.
So if this has just kind of hit you, definitely check out the info session, because we need you here. We need you helping, volunteering, and being an advocate for these kids. So thank you so much for today.
Thanks, Chris.
And thank you so much for tuning in. I'm Chris Wise with Wise About Flower Mound, Debbie Jenson with CASA, and we look forward to seeing you next time. Thanks so much.